don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Okay team, I get a lot of questions about mental toughness, and so I wanted to make a video not only on this particular topic, but just kind of give some background information on some of the things that helped me along the way in overcoming doubt and fear in races, because I think that a lot of athletes do tense up, and a lot of us overthink, overanalyze our races. I think the most important thing as you prepare for your races in 2025, or whenever you're watching this video, is to trust what you're doing in training. If you've trained optimally, if you've trained sufficiently at paces that are significantly faster than you're planning to race at, you're going to be so much more confident, and you're going to be much less, you're going to have a much less of a reason to overanalyze and to doubt and to fear what you're about to do. I always tell athletes, always make sure that you're throwing everything at yourself in training. Make training the most difficult part of your preparation, not the race itself. The race is the celebration of all your hard work. When you've started your taper properly, and when I say that, you've dropped the 3-week taper and you've considered doing a 10-day taper where you continue to train up very hard and in terms of your volume, in terms of your intensity, up to just a few days out from your goal race. I think a lot of times that is a big motivator for a lot of athletes, just doing something different than they did in the past. Because if whatever you were doing in the past didn't work, whether that's high volume that you've been doing, or maybe doing a lot of speed work and you think because you're doing more speed work you should be getting better results, I think just changing up your routine at times can help athletes not only physically but also mentally. Okay, I always bring up my best races in the past. When I raced my best, I was the most relaxed, surprisingly. I wasn't like all tensed up and all zoned out. I mean, do what works best for you. A lot of athletes will zone out and kind of like throw on their head, earphones and kind of just get off to somewhere else and just kind of relax. That's okay. Again, that may work for you. A lot of athletes, they get way too hyped up, and a lot of times because they're so stressed out before they even start the race, they don't perform at the level that they know they can. Okay, so I think that it's very important to, as you're training, also remind yourself to stay relaxed, as because a lot of times the faster we run, there's a lot more pressure on the body physiologically, but also mentally on the mind, the faster we're running. Okay, so consciously tell yourself, I'm in control, I'm relaxed. The moment you start feeling your face tense up or your shoulders starting to rise, drop your shoulders, relax, be confident in what you're doing, because so many of you have so much more capacity in you, and it's just a matter of changing up how you're doing things in training and how you're going into your races. There's no reason why you need to be overly stressed and overanalyze yourself going into your main races. Have confidence in what you're doing. Have a plan. I always say pre-plan. Make sure that if you want to run a fast time, don't go to a course that's hilly and that will, make it even more difficult for you to hit your personal best. You want to be on a flat course. You want to be on a course that's going to give you the highest return on your investment and give you the most confidence that you're going to run a fast time. Always run your race. Don't race someone else's race, okay? Do the other things that your competition may not be doing, okay? I'm a firm believer that mental training is absolutely essential if you want to make the next jump in your training. I don't care if you're in business or you are an athlete or you're doing something else in life. If you want to excel to a higher standard, you're going to have to think outside the box. You're going to have to start doing some things that your competition or that other people are not paying attention to. Okay, I see it a lot in the digital marketing world and the business world. People are just writing content about anything that comes to their mind. You have to be strategic. You have to niche down, find out what your potential customers are already searching for. Okay, you don't just write about anything. Okay, when it comes to racing, you don't want to run any further than you need to in the race. Run the tangents. Always run the tangents. Run the least amount of distance as you possibly can. Again, the more prepared you're going to be in training, the longer your build-up, you give yourself more time to prepare for your races. Okay, if you're training for a 10-mile, half marathon, give yourself a minimum of 4 months, but preferably 5 to 6 months if you want to do it right. Okay? It takes about 28 days for your body to adapt to any stress load you're placing on it. So it's absolutely vital, critical, that you provide yourself ample time in order to have the highest chance of success. You're putting in a ton of time, effort, resources. You're investing in training plans, running courses, airfare, hotel, apparel, gas money to get to and from these races, or flights if you're flying to different locations. You're putting in a great deal of time. So the least amount of stress that you can place on yourself, the better. Okay, that's why I always tell athletes, and this is how I did it when I was in my prime. I threw everything at myself in training. I was going to prepare the very best that I could in training, so that when it came time to race, the athletes that were going up against me had better have done their homework. Sure, I've been beaten plenty of times over the years. I've been humbled many times too. But I've outrun Kenyans, I've outrun Ethiopians, I've outrun, and not just very, very strong athletes from other countries, okay? I've been at the top, and I've also failed many times as well, okay? If everything went perfect in our races, I wish I could just share that with all of you, that I could promise you every single time you were going to get a great result when you went into your race, or when you were doing a workout, you were going to just nail the splits every single time. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't work that way. You have to be consistent and relentless in what you're doing, and do not give up. There are far too many athletes, just far too many people in general, that do give up too soon. Okay, if you've already accomplished what you want to do in the sport, and you now just generally want to just jog and to stay in shape and to take care of yourself, kudos to you, because you've already done what you wanted to do. If you have zero regrets, I commend you. Okay, but if you have something that's driving you on a daily basis, something that maybe it's to qualify for the Boston Marathon, maybe it's to lose weight, maybe it's to start a business, maybe it's to do something that you've been dreaming about and you've been really focused on, but for some reason something is holding you back, now is the time to do it. Okay, it's that mental toughness. It's that you have to be mentally driven and mentally see yourself doing something that you have not yet accomplished. You have to train the mind like you've trained your body. You've put in the heavy work. Now it's time to put in the mental preparation. Okay, mentally visualizing already accomplishing something that you're aiming for right now. Okay, when I was a 2:43 marathoner, I knew I had to do it right, but I knew I could break the 2 hour and 22 minute marathon barrier. That's 5:25 per mile. At that time, back in 2007, that was a USA Track and Field Olympic Trials B standard time. To jump from a 2:43 to a 2:21:59 is a massive jump in time, okay? But I knew if I was strategic, if I was patient, if I was relentless in what I was doing, I was going to do it, okay? I visualized that dozens of times every single day, seeing myself getting across the finish line with 2:21:59 on the clock. I eventually did that running 2:19:35, but I had a lot of setbacks along the way. I didn't just get there, okay? So I cannot preach this enough. If you haven't gotten what you want, do not let up. Be relentless in what you're doing. Believe in yourself. Surround yourself with the right people that are going to help you, that are not going to quit on you, that are going to believe in what you're doing, that are not going to put something else before you. They believe in what you're doing. They love you regardless of how fast you run, or regardless of what you do or how many successes you have. They don't care. They don't stop caring about you if you fail, okay? Surround yourself with the right people. Listen to the right information. Go back and watch my videos on RunDreamAchieve.com. I've made so many different videos on how to run faster at the various distances. Check those out. If you have other business-related goals in mind, go to DreamAchieveFinance.com. There's some resources there. I create content there on a daily basis, helping people that are wanting to get started in their own business, if that's an interest of yours. But just if you've prepared properly in training, you've given yourself a longer build-up instead of a real short time frame, like 8 weeks, and you haven't built any aerobic fitness first, you've just jumped into an 8-week block of training, you can still do well with that, but it's better to give yourself more time. You're not stressing yourself out. You're allotting sufficient time for your body to adapt to the stress load you're placing on it. Okay, if you're doing those specific types of fundamentals and you're preparing yourself, you're going to be so confident. You're not going to have doubt and fear going into your races. You're going to really look forward to what you're doing, and you're going to only hope that your competition has prepared as much and as well as you have. So I hope this video on mental toughness and overcoming doubt and fear in races is helpful for you. Believe me, I've been there. I know what it feels like to fail in the sport, and I know what it feels like to run and compete at the very top levels. And just know that persistence and consistency and being relentless and having that white hot focus on what you want will pay huge dividends for you. It's the people that let up right when they were just about to achieve what they wanted to do that start to regret, that start to throw doubts at themselves. You don't need to do that. Put in the heavy work, remove all doubt and all concern that you're not prepared by training properly, putting in the proper volume, following a strategic plan that's going to set you up for success. And I promise you, doubt and fear in your races is not going to be a thing. You're going to be more mentally tough. You're going to be confident, and you're going to be prepared, most importantly, physiologically. You're going to be prepared physically as well as mentally. So I hope this video is helpful for all of you that are watching. Feel free to like and share this video. I really appreciate that. It helps other people around the world, both athletes and non-athletes, to see these videos. And if there's anything else I can do, just leave me a comment. I'll respond back to you. Check out the resources on RunDreamAchieve.com or DreamAchieveFinance.com. Like I said, if you have an interest in business, there are resources there for you to help set you up for success. So thanks so much, and I'll talk to you on the next video.